Sophia, you can't do this. Dorothy said you...
Forget about what Dorothy said. What do you want me to do? Kick them out? There's not a room in town. These people come from a small town in Iowa, much like St. Olaf. Really? I don't lie about stuff like
this. Good morning. It is February 9th, 2025. This is the 185th episode of Rock Hard Caucus. We're doing it again. 185 episodes going super strong. It's the only podcast in Iowa. Every resident of Iowa listens to it every single week.
Yeah.
And that is reflected in the numbers, the data, listenership data.
We've been looking at the data. It's really good. It's really strong. Doing really
every
well.
Every week, 3 million listeners every episode.
Also, formerly Iowa's meanest podcast, but I think we've changed our ways. We're nice guys now. We're not going to do any mean stuff or say any mean stuff anymore.
I feel like
unless you deserve it.
I feel like we kind of ebb and flow on the spectrum of mean versus nice. You know, we're constantly shifting back and forth.
Yeah.
Getting meaner, getting nicer. You can never pin us down. We're
right.
not necessarily the meanest podcast anymore, but sometimes we get nasty.
Sometimes it's important to be mean, but we're not the meanest.
Okay. So this is a podcast about news and politics. That's like the genre that we are under on like iTunes and stuff.
Did you choose that?
Crazy. Yeah. That's the what's the word? Genre. I feel like is wrong. The category. I don't know.
Category. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's too much news and politics going on this week.
Yeah, I think so.
It is like impossible to wrap my head around everything that is going on. So let's start off this episode with some good news. And we're going to shrink the focus of this news and politics show for a moment and talk about a primary for a special election for a city council race. Mm-hmm. This affects thousands of people. But yeah, our good friend Oliver Weilein, he won the primary very decisively in Iowa City this week. I got the results pulled up here. This was only District C in Iowa City. Only that one district was allowed to vote in this primary. There were 3 candidates, one of which had already dropped out. So, you know, kind of a pointless primary. The point of this was the top two candidates in the primary will go on to the general. And so the only 2 candidates who were actually campaigning won the primary. What a shock.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
But Oliver did very well. He got 69% of the vote.
That is beautiful.
That is a funny nice number.
Yeah.
What a funny number. I should have had something queued up on the soundboard for this. Here.
Hard Rock Caucus. So I thought it was some porn stuff.
We're celebrating 69 today here on the Porn Stuff podcast. Yes, Oliver got 69% to Ross Nusser's 27%.
Yeah, more than doubled him up.
Yes, he did very well. And this is even in the face of articles like this. Local stupid radio station KCJJ, who I know primarily as just a like copy and paste police reports onto a radio station's website. That's sort of like their role in the news ecosystem.
Yeah. I think I've seen an article from them that was like, why does Cedar Rapids have so many Mexican restaurants? Just like weird, potentially racist clickbait. Like,
yeah. Should I be upset about that? The prevalence of Mexican food in my hometown? I think it's good.
I do too.
But the day of the primary, which was Tuesday, the 4th this week, there's been like a weird sort of like attempt at a smear campaign on Oliver by sort of the liberal political establishment, basically people who own property, potentially mini properties. It seems like they really don't want Oliver to gain a seat of power.
Yeah. It's interesting. A guy who's like, talking about anti-homeless measures. He's talking about pro-homeless measures, but
anti-homelessness.
yes.
He's pro the people. He wants to.
But yeah, it's not
divert resources to these people to help.
Real estate developers might not be in favor of that kind of politician.
Yeah. Well, Oliver owns a gun or two, and this is a wedge issue that they've been trying to hammer on to scare well-meaning liberals away from voting for the very popular and nice candidate Oliver Wyline. KCJJ, local stupid radio station, jumped on that. I'm reading from their article here. Screen caps from X show numerous anti-police tweets from Wyline, as well as one where he wrote, "My town never looked better," with photos of anti-police graffiti on the old Capitol in 2020. We're supposed to be afraid of this, I guess. Also, it's telling that they just call it X. They don't even say formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, I guess is that the new convention? I don't know.
Yeah,
X stupid. Is such a terrible name that, I think they need to constantly remind people what it is. They should just say it's Elon Musk's like shithole.
The awful, terrible Nazi website full of pedophiles and what else? What other criminals are on X? Human traffickers.
Yeah. Mostly just pedophiles.
Yeah, Nazi pedophiles. The Nazi pedophile haven. In another post, Wyline fails to condemn potential violence following November's presidential election of Donald Trump. So what? I don't even know what post they're talking about there. He fails to condemn potential violence.
Oh, man, that's ridiculous.
That to me is getting in trouble for not posting something, right?
That is literally what it is, yes.
And he has tweets in which he jokes about the murder of United Healthcare CEO and University of Iowa graduate Brian Thompson in New York City.
I mean, who doesn't?
So KCJJ coming down on the side of the healthcare CEO, whose murder we all celebrated. All right, now, here's the thing. They got screen caps of these tweets from a former Iowa city councilor. Somebody who used to be on the city council sent these to this radio station. The former councilor, who spoke on condition of anonymity, was also concerned that Wyline's campaign logo bears a resemblance to the international flag for anarchy.
Oh, man.
They also spelled his name wrong in that
These
sentence.
City councilors are learning about anarchy now. I mean, I think that's positive development, maybe. Maybe they'll broaden their political horizons a little bit.
God forbid any of these people catch their children playing a game of checkers with those threatening colors, red and black.
Right. It's also very funny to be like, I am like a pretty like prominent person. Like, I just need you to know that I'm a prominent person, but like, I don't also want to tell you my name. Like,
yeah. If people find out that I sent screen caps of public posts to a radio station, my life is in danger. Anyway, despite all of these attempts to tear him down, 69% in the primary. So, everybody, if you are an Iowa City resident who listens to this podcast, if you live anywhere in the city of Iowa City, the real election is March 4th, and all Iowa City residents can vote in this real special election. Early voting starts on February 12th this week, so you can get in there early and make your support for our friend Oliver official. I can't because I live in Coralville. Well, I can't. I'm winking as I say that. I definitely will not cast any fraudulent votes. Somebody clip that and send it to KCJJ. See if they
make an article about it.
Yeah, we'll write about a local podcast encouraging voter fraud. All right, there's too much going on, like I said. we should talk about the casino.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, where did I put these? I have great. I have a couple of videos related to this that I'll need to play for you. But I think we were talking about this last week with Emma, right? That the state legislature was considering a bill to extend a moratorium on building new casinos.
Yeah, moratorium on new casinos.
Yeah. Yep. They had officially abandoned that, and they already broke ground on building a new casino in Cedar Rapids. They were like so ready for the news to come out that they were
they've been talking about
this
for like since I lived in Cedar Rapids over a decade ago.
Yeah. So the bill did not go through, and so the Iowa Racing and Gaming Commission voted 4-1 to allow the Cedar Crossing Casino, which they've said they're going to have like operational within the year, like before the end of this year. They're going to have an operational casino in Cedar Rapids. It's at the former site of. I'm reading from KCRG here. The Cedar Crossing Casino will be built at the former site of the former Cooper's Mill on the west side of the Cedar River. So this is like an area that will flood again at some point. So, maybe looking on trying to be optimistic, maybe as they build the casino, they will build some flood prevention measures as well, since they're dumping a bunch of money into this.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice. Don't really get to control where those tax dollars go too much, I don't think.
No. Okay. I feel like this is... Let me just play this video, and then maybe we can talk about what the response of like local leaders has been to this casino. This is a video of the mayor of Cedar Rapids, Tiffany O'Donnell, being interviewed by multiple local news sources. I guess the video is coming from the Gazette. I see microphones from like Radio Iowa, KWWL, I think, and something else. Anyway.
KCCI, yeah.
Listen to how excited she is about this casino.
Reaction hearing all the commissioners' comments.
It's honestly a cataclysmic day for Cedar Rapids and Lynn County.
And what's next as far as, obviously you got the permit now, is it getting to work right away?
Absolutely. We'll be moving dirt tomorrow. Wasting no time in getting...
So she called this a cataclysmic day. A cataclysmic day. To me, that word does not have positive connotations.
No, it doesn't. I'm very confused.
Like, I think... I don't even know that I've ever heard the word cataclysm used to describe something that you think is good.
No, I don't think I have either. Like, that's...
And then I've also got this video that she posted to her own Facebook. I don't know if this was a live video or she just like...
No, the meaning of cataclysm is a devastating flood.
Uh-oh, ominous for the city of Cedar Rapids, who has a
no history of devastating floods in Cedar Rapids.
Pretty rough history with flooding, yeah. Okay, folks, this casino is a sign of the impending apocalypse. This is a cataclysmic day, and your demonic mayor is celebrating the cataclysm. Yeah, but look how excited she is in this video she posted to her Facebook.
Cedar Rapids, you did it. You did it. We did it. I'm just coming to you now after the Iowa Racing Gaming Commission meeting, 4-1 vote, my friends, which just speaks to the incredible quality of this project and the integrity of this commission.
The integrity. Okay. First off, we did it, Joe. It's a very "we did it, Joe" tone at the beginning of this.
Yeah, what the fuck? I guess she's a TV newswoman, or former TV newswoman, so it's just kind of her default mode.
The Gaming Commission voting in favor of this is a sign of their integrity.
I wonder if they've ever declined, approving a casino. Like, these kind of boards are like not really like about like blocking casinos from being built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me let her continue here.
And to all of you, Cedar Rapids, you are winners. You are winners. It was your emails. It was your calls. It was your messages to your legislators that helped get us here. Without a doubt, Cedar Rapids showed up, and we are reaping the rewards of that today by being granted a license. I just have to thank the army of people who over the last 12 or 13 years have been working to get this done. Certainly our private partners, P2E, who are going to build this thing, our nonprofit partners who have $6 million now coming to them a year because
$6 million a year of these casino proceeds will be going to local nonprofits. I didn't really look this up. How much money do you think casinos usually make in a year?
A lot. It's basically a money printing machine. I think it's funny. Also, she's like, "Oh yeah, you're a bunch of winners now, Cedar Rapids, until the casino opens, and then you're going to be a fucking loser. You're going to go fucking bankrupt."
That's got to be intentional language, right? To be calling people winners,
probably
as the casino's about to be built, like sort of like implanting in their minds, "Oh yes, this is it. This is my opportunity."
Yeah.
Now that there's a casino slightly closer to my home, now I will be good at blackjack.
Yeah, go hit the slots like a dead-eyed zombie.
Yeah. And this is like, obviously, if you're a gambling addict who lives in Cedar Rapids, you've been also adding on to the effects of your constant gambling losses. You've also been wasting money on gas driving down to Riverside Casino for the past 20 years or whatever. And now you'll be, I mean, this is great for those people. This is great for gambling addicts because now they will be, and it's good for the environment. Because they'll be burning less gas.
Wow. And $6 million for nonprofits.
Right. That's kind of how they've like been trying to. I guess I don't know if the public needs to be sold on this, but this is part of the message. It's like, oh, this is going to be so great for like healthcare nonprofits in the area. Some of this like evil money will be going towards giving back to the community.
Of this project, labor for showing up every time they were asked, all of the volunteers who helped us with this effort, city staff, council. It's just been an incredible effort by a lot of people, and today we were rewarded for it. I've said it from the beginning, this was David and Goliath, and my friends, true to the story, David won today. Well done, Cedar Rapids.
Wait, who the fuck is Goliath in this metaphor?
Yeah, who's Goliath? Is Goliath the other casinos that didn't want another casino to be built?
Oh my god.
David is a casino being built. When I think of casinos, I think of the little guy.
Yeah. Yeah, when I think of casinos, I think of good Christians.
Yeah, it is honestly like, if I were a religious man, I would be offended that she was conjuring up images of like one of the classic Old Testament stories to support the building of an altar to greed, and this is not right. Have you ever been into gambling at all, Evan?
I've never been into a casino. I've dabbled and no longer dabble, other than very few exceptions.
Sports betting.
Yeah, sports betting, but like very low stakes sports betting, which I'm not super proud of, but it gives you a little extra incentive to pay attention to the game.
Sure. Yeah. I've been to Riverside Casino maybe a handful of times, but only actually gambled once. They had a good buffet back in the day. I ate a lot of crab legs for a good price. But I think this would have been around when I was like maybe 22 or 23. I went there with Ashley's family, and her dad gave me like $20 to bet. I went to the blackjack table. This is the only time I can remember like ever gambling at all. I don't think I've done any gambling aside from this. I went to a blackjack table. I turned that $20 into I think 80 or so. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then within 5 minutes, I had blown all of that money.
Yeah, that's exactly how gambling works.
Exactly.
That's how they get you.
I was like, this fucking sucks. I'm never doing it again.
Yeah.
I think I'm fortunate. I don't have, I have the opposite of a gambling addiction where the losing is just so enraging that
honestly,
I'll never do it again.
Honestly, yeah. The only way that you can go into gambling is just expect that you're going to lose all your money. If you're already willing to accept that, then you can go for it, I guess. But Like, you don't think that you're going to win anything. Also, I was totally wrong. They have actually blocked proposals to build a casino in Cedar Rapids, the Gaming Commission, in 2014 and 2017.
Okay, so the fact that they've done it now
but the
is
reason
a sign of their integrity.
But the reason why is exactly what you said, because they would siphon off customers from other local casinos.
Yeah. The CEO of Riverside, Dan Kale, he said he was disappointed by the commission's decision. We appreciate the time and effort the commission and staff put into this, but we do have questions and concerns, as we still believe the referendum requirement has not been met and are reviewing our next best steps. So I guess the referendum requirement being like they have people vote, and maybe it's like been too long since the last time they had people vote on this. I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
Anyway, I don't think this is going to be a long-term positive influence on the city of Cedar Rapids. I don't think that the economic effects of casinos, I don't think the evidence bears out that it's like good long term for a town to build a casino. Like, have you been to Riverside? We've been to Riverside together.
Yeah, for the Captain Kirk festival.
Doesn't seem like that town really benefits much from being near a casino.
Yeah, I mean, that's my neck of the woods. Not a real booming joint over there.
Here. This is a quote from somebody, Patty Kohler with the Washington County Riverboat Foundation. She said, "There's no other way for Washington to get this kind of revenue," that's Washington County, to get this kind of revenue other than the Riverside Casino. It will be a significant loss of jobs in Washington County. It'll be a significant loss of revenue to nonprofit organizations and the municipalities in Washington County, because when our revenues go down, then what we can give out is obviously going to go down. So I'm going to think like a little bit bigger picture. What if all of these community resources were not completely reliant on a hive of siphoning money from gambling addicts?
Right.
What if there was another way for us to fund these like necessary services?
Yeah, it seems a little regressive. I haven't been to a casino, but I've seen inside, I've seen videos of people post from inside casinos, and the people who are going to them are usually not particularly well off. They're people who are like, I mean, I had one of my aunts was a big bingo player and her bingo friends were mostly people who lived in like trailer parks. Like, they're not, I would say the average customer is probably not very well off, and that's basically making this like, it's a very regressive way to raise revenue.
Yeah, and the gambling industry sort of perpetuates this like fantasy for these people that like, if you like come here and spend your money, maybe this will change your life. This is like the one way that you could like potentially come into a bunch of money and actually like have some nice things for the last few years of your life. Yeah. Evil stuff. Although when you said bingo, it did remind me, I guess I have gambled a little bit because I remember, again, this is with Ashley's family. We went to a Catholic church basement and played bingo with her grandma a couple times.
Nice. Yeah.
That shouldn't be allowed, should it? Gambling in a church?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, and I mean, bingo is probably not a great example, but those slot machines are insidious. Like, just the way that they're, I mean, just manipulating people's dopamine receptors in their brain to chase that high constantly.
Yeah, bingo didn't really feel like gambling because it's like more of a game of skill.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, fuck the casino. What else should we talk about? Oh, yeah, I've been putting this off. Our governor testified before the U.S. House Oversight Committee for 4.5 hours this week. So let's watch all of that right now. No, let me put that off for a minute because we'll end with something from that. Here's something small that I just kind of thought was interesting. My representative, Marionette Miller Meeks, she did like a town hall earlier this week on the phone. People could call in and ask questions and stuff. And then the morning after, she tweeted a photo of Elon Musk and overlaid on that photo is like a stock image of a couple of passports and a like miniature American flag. Okay, interesting image. But the text of the tweet is, last night during our teletown hall, a caller asserted that Elon Musk, and she tagged him, was not a U.S. citizen and an illegal immigrant. Elon is a U.S. citizen, and I can assure you he didn't come through the southern border. Now, I had been under the assumption that, like, okay, his family came here from South Africa because they were mad that apartheid was over, I believe is the story of how Elon Musk came to America.
Yeah, that checks out.
And, you know, I just assumed, like, yeah, this is like a family of means. This is like who the U.S. immigration system is designed to accommodate. You know, it's like white people can't be as racist as they want to be in the country they're at now. They have money. You know, we welcome them in. This is what America is for, is to collect the most exploitative, racist people on earth.
Right.
I mean, actually, that's kind of what South Africa was for a while. But once that party was over, you know, we're like, okay, let's import some of this. Well,
Right.
in fact, I think that's literally the policy of the current administration now, is what I've been seeing. Like, Trump is like directly appealing to white Afrikaners or whatever.
I haven't seen that, but I'm not, trying not to get too deep in this fucking garbage.
Their land's being taken from them unfairly, Evan, and we have to invite them over here with open arms and cut off all aid to South Africa because they're being racist to white people.
Yeah, I don't
Our
think
president
that's
has been
near
saying stuff like that.
I mean, he's been saying some stuff. I don't think that should be a priority.
But anyway, I had never really questioned Elon Musk's like legal immigration status, citizenship or whatever, because I figured like, yeah, they've got the money, whatever. But now that she's being so defensive about it, now it calls the whole thing into question for me. Maybe he is an illegal immigrant. Maybe he's not a citizen. Maybe he did come over the southern border. I don't know how he got here.
So would it be a problem if he was a legal immigrant who came through the southern border? Would that be a problem for you, Marionette Miller Meeks?
Yeah, that's an interesting detail of this, is like, you know, she's like really painting the picture here. Actually, this is the only thing we actually care about immigration wise, is this one border here.
Yeah.
The rest of it's cool. We just really hate this one, or this is the one that we talk about the most because it makes the people most upset because they're racist. Anyway, I think that maybe, you know, he shouldn't be in charge of all this stuff in the government. He's like, I mean, they talk about immigrants like they're invaders trying to overthrow our government, and now like literally that's happening with this one guy.
Right. Yeah, this man who is like one of the most powerful people on the planet. God, I hate saying that.
You know what I hate saying even more? Doge.
Yeah. I can't. It's one of the worst things is having to pretend to take these people seriously.
Okay, well, with that little bit said, I brought that up because Elon Musk and his activities with Doge were like the focus of this House Oversight Committee hearing that our governor was at this week. And again, it's 4.5 hours, so buckle in, everyone. This is a long episode this week. We're going to do a watch along of a House Oversight Committee hearing. Here. Okay. Governor Kim Reynolds speaking before the House Oversight Committee. There's some Republicans on this committee. There's some Democrats. So there's a bit of a contrast with how these people were receiving her words and the questions they were asking her. But this is sort of her introduction. She's here because I'll let her say it. You've heard her say it before.
First, let me thank Congressman Nunn for your kind words, and thank you for your service. Chairman Comer, Ranking Member Conley.
Okay.
Chairman Comer?
No relation. I don't know this man.
You're the only Chairman Comer that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Chairman of the pod.
That's I think James is his first name. James Comer of Tennessee.
Correction, Kentucky.
As far as I know, I have no relation to him, and I don't condone any of his behavior.
Members of the committee, thank you for giving me the opportunity to testify today. Since this hearing is about government efficiency, I'll get right to the point. Iowa was doing Doge before Doge was a thing.
I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of hearing her say this.
I mean, like, I don't know. Who's this appealing to again? I guess her people who follow her on Twitter.
Well, yeah, Zach told us that, like, when she said that at the State of the State speech, everyone was laughing and happy. The Reddit meme from 10 years ago is so funny.
Oh, man. I wonder how many times, like, elderly Iowans have had to have Doge, like, explain to them, like, why it's funny by their, like, Gen Z super racist, like, grandchildren.
Yeah, they're Groiper grandnephews. Yeah. Something that struck me with her, like, introductory speech here is, like, she kind of seems nervous.
When I was
absolutely.
elected to office in 2018, our tax structure was uncompetitive. Our top income tax rate was 8.98%.
She's talking, like, way faster than she usually does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to keep you here for 4 hours. There's no need to rush.
One of the highest in the nation, as was our 12% corporate rate. Antiquated state policies made our tax code complex and hard to reform. Soon after President Trump signed TCJA into law, I signed legislation that eliminated federal deductibility, cut rates across the board, provided for additional reductions in future years, and reduced the number of income tax brackets.
Okay, so this tax reform is the kind of stuff that she's referring to when she says that she did Doge before it was a thing. And, well, I know maybe you didn't know about the South Africa thing, but have you been following the activities of this so-called Department of Government Efficiency this week? Yeah,
a little bit. And this guy, Nathan Tankus, who writes about economic policy, has been covering it a lot with the treasury systems that have been, I guess, just handed over to all of Musk's, like, little weird little disciples.
Yeah, they're strange little teens. So what she's describing, this is a process that I do not approve of. I oppose the way that she has restructured the state government, but it's also sort of like based on, I don't know, government procedure, like passing laws and shit like that. The Doge shit has been like, again, like one of the most powerful men in the world sending gangs of teens into government buildings and stealing all the computers and shit.
Yeah. And it's like, it's money that's already been, like, appropriated and stuff. And it's like, they're not, like, attacking government waste. They're just going in there. I mean, obviously they're not doing that, but they're just going in there and saying, like, well, I mean, I don't know what they've done yet, but they have the potential to be like, oh, we just don't like this payment to go through. Like, we don't want this money to go where it was intended to go, so we're just going to stop it. Like, that's not part of any of, like, it's like the Treasury's payment systems are just like a technicality. That's just how they get the money where it needs to go because it's already been appropriated. Right.
Like a bill has been passed or something that appropriates this money to go from here to here. Yeah. So it, like, legally has to. So this is a completely different process. It's like, this is a campaign of revenge by one of the guy at the top of the capitalist pyramid. This is not like streamlining government. It is like attacking all of the mechanisms that tried to constrain him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also someone who's benefited greatly from his relationship with the government. It's been subsidized 9 ways. Like, I mean,
let me skip ahead to where these members of this committee actually start asking her questions about shit. Because the point I was trying to make is kind of what Representative Jerry Connolly gets at, Democrat from Virginia. Just sort of like the difference between what she's describing and what is actually happening now. And Jerry Connolly, I don't know that I know much about him. He's like old, right?
he looks pretty old. I don't know anything about him either.
Yeah.
To effectuate the reforms you proudly championed today, You put on the payroll your wealthiest donor, who came in and decided what agencies to abolish, which cabinet members were to go, how many people were to be fired, and other kinds of decision making that was imbued with him or her. Is that how you did it in Iowa? Your wealthiest donor took that lead?
No, that's a complete misstatement. And first of all, we did it without any layoffs whatsoever. We made that commitment when we moved into our
layoffs.
Absolutely no layoffs.
Well,
I was able to eliminate 600 open positions that had been open for over a year.
So I don't really buy this. Like, oh yeah, no one lost their job at all when I cut all of these positions from the government.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's possible.
But through the transition process and what we've been able to accomplish, we did that right now without laying off any state employees.
Excuse me, because my time is limited, Governor, I don't mean to be interrupting you, but so the idea that your wealthiest donor kind of shepherded all of this is false.
That is false.
That's false. And you didn't lay off people. You tried, in fact, to move people around, or
no? We made that commitment at the beginning of the process.
You made a commitment to that
because first of all, these were common sense changes. It was a realignment. It was highlighting the cabinet members that I thought should be in the
Freudian slip. The cabinet members that I shot.
Cabinet and making government operate more efficiently.
I think that's a very Iowan concept too. Common sense.
Yes.
And I like it. It's a non-ideological approach to governance.
A non-ideological approach to governance. Come on, man. I know that you're trying to highlight how bad this shit is with the federal government right now. You don't have to give her props for doing like a pilot program of destroying the potential of the government to provide these services.
Well, I mean, he's a Democrat, so that's kind of the MO, you know?
Yeah. It's a very Iowan concept, common sense. What the fuck does that mean?
It means we're smart guys.
Yeah, I don't know. What is this? So this is a guy from Virginia. Like, what do they think goes on over here? This is the mythical land of common sense, not like the damn Washington insiders who have all these highfalutin ideas, all their book learning. Out here, we live in the fields and we operate just on common sense. We all have the same ideas about how to live, and it just is innate. It's common.
Yep.
Professor Resch, would it be fair to say that what you've heard from Governor Reynolds is distinctly different from what we are experiencing in the first 15 days of the Trump administration with Elon Musk allegedly at the helm? And please speak loudly into that microphone so we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
Quite simply, yes.
Come on, man. That wasn't loud. Follow instructions. Yell into the microphone. Yeah, so this is some guy. I don't really know who he is. I was just focused on our governor. And now I want to play this clip as well. This is Representative Raja Krishnamurthy from Illinois, also a Democrat. He gets a little fired up about this. Actually, Evan, let's preface this a bit. Have you heard about what's going on with the Lutherans?
So this is the only clip that I've seen of this whole thing. And I guess it was something, like Elon Musk declared war on all Lutherans and said they must be eradicated. Something like that.
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But, yeah. And some people took offense to that.
Oh, why? I think this originates from a Mike Flynn tweet, actually.
Forgot about him.
Yeah, what they say Doge is doing is like investigating and auditing where like all this U.S. aid money is going and shit. And Mike Flynn basically said, like, look at all this money that's going to like Lutheran charity services or whatever. And he alleged that this is money laundering for some reason. I don't really know why, but that's kind of what this Representative Krishnamurthy gets upset about here.
Attention to something very disturbing that Musk just recently tweeted out.
as we see at this visual, he said the Doge team is rapidly shutting down illegal payments to Lutheran Family Services.
Yeah, actually, he's got the Mike Flynn tweet right there. So he said, now it's the, quote, Lutheran faith. This use of religion, in quotes, as a money laundering operation must end.
Hey, let's get rid of their tax exempt status too while we're at it.
Right. Yeah, we're like, this is crazy. Like, Lutherans are, it's a church. Like, since when are you going after churches?
Isn't Mike Flynn like a Christian nationalist too? Like, what are they turning on each other now?
Yeah, I mean, cool, I guess, but it doesn't seem like the results are going to be good of this schism. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, they're going to be, you gotta be one of the craziest like evangelical denominations, or you're not a real Christian, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Musk retweeted a post from Michael Flynn likening Lutheran Family Services to, quote, a money laundering operation. Governor, you don't believe that the Lutheran Church or Lutheran Family Services is a money laundering operation, correct?
Look, I can tell you that in Iowa, the taxpayers of Iowa hold me personally responsible and accountable for state government, just as they hold President Trump accountable
for his
The Lutheran
Church is not a money laundering operation, right?
And the election that
Ma'am,
we just
Des Moines, Iowa is the home to the largest Lutheran congregation in the United States.
Iowans overwhelmingly.
Is the Lutheran Church a money laundering operation?
Listen.
Of course not.
First of all, every program should be looked at. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay,
you have to look at. I looked at 800.
Some connection to money laundering. Is that what you're?
You see, she took her glasses off there. It's getting really heated. They're about to fight. It's kind of alarming. Like, she's not willing to answer that question.
It is, yeah. I mean, like Elon Musk. I mean, he literally said those payments are illegal. Which
yeah.
I think maybe we should could maybe focus on that a little bit too. Like, I mean, dude, it's just not even addressing what the actual situation is.
I didn't think to look this up until now. When I Googled Kim Reynolds' religion, it says that she attends the Lutheran Church of Hope.
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
she's Lutheran.
She is willing to sell out her entire congregation by not answering this simple ass question.
Oh my God!
I'm not saying that, but I said every
yes or no question. Is it a money laundering operation?
I can't speak to that.
You can't speak to that. Oh my God! Let's go to this USAID issue.
She admitted
USAID purchases crops from Iowa
She can't
farmers.
admit it. Actually,
recently Elon Musk called it a criminal organization. Purchasing crops from Iowa farmers is not a criminal activity, correct?
I am the governor of
yes
Iowa.
Yes or no? Is that a criminal activity?
I am the governor of Iowa, and I don't work with USAID. It is not a position,
purchasing
and
crops
I'm not
from
weigh
Iowa farmers a criminal operation?
Yes.
In general, purchasing crops from Iowans is not.
Thank you.
In general, it could be though.
Yeah, there's no crime going on with Iowa's agriculture.
Nope.
I mean, you'd think the governor of Iowa would be quick to say that, but kind of shocking. She's not willing to. What is this? What is going on?
I mean,
in her head? What is the conflict?
I'm not particularly shocked. She's one of the most insincere people I can think of. Her whole public persona is completely fake, and that accent. Come on, come on, you're playing that up.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this she has to be like a foot soldier for the Doge thing?
Yeah, I guess it just demonstrates her loyalty to unelected Elon Musk over literally people who go to the same church as her.
Yeah, they go to her church, and I mean her entire political career is bankrolled by big agriculture. That's where she gets all her campaign money. They need those federal funds to fucking keep their exploitative operations going. I don't know. This whole chaos operation is really throwing everything into chaos, as you may expect. I don't know what things will look like in like a month.
I know, right? It's, I mean, Elon Musk is, this cutting is, they're basically cutting their own feet off. I mean, I guess we'll see. But it seems like they might cut something that actually is like important to like the functioning of this capitalist system that we have. They might not really understand some of the reasons why like they have power in this country, and they might be like, furthering, like harming their chances to continue making money.
Yeah, like this whole thing, you were the beneficiary of all of this. The capitalist structure was built for you. You already had everything you needed. You are at the top of this pyramid. You benefit from the existing structure, and now, like, just to spite like woke people you don't like, you are destroying your own capability to keep the machine running for your own benefit. This is wild. I mean, I don't know. Are any of the supposed like checks and balances gonna work out? Because
they're calling, like they can just the courts have stepped in some areas, but now they're calling it a judicial coup. Elon Musk, I think, literally posted about it being a judicial coup, but what he's doing is not a coup.
Right. and this is a judicial system where the president has installed most of the judges that are in the system. Like, again, you are the beneficiary of all of this. The status quo benefited you more than anyone. I was talking about this with Ashley the other night. Like, they're doing fascism, right? Like, signing executive orders like trans people are no longer allowed to exist and stuff. All this stuff, but it all requires like a functioning government to enact your like fascist policy. You need willing collaborators, right? And you're like gutting the entire government. Like the people who would enforce and enact these policies that you want to inflict on everyone, like you have to pay them to do it.
Yeah, well, it's like it's not like he's motivated by nationalism or anything. He's motivated by, he thinks that these things actually will benefit him and whatever, other multinational corporation creeps like, or, American multinational corporations. But either way, it's like, I don't know. Obviously, like none of these things are beneficial. Like for him or for anyone, like,
yeah. Well, the Lutherans aren't happy.
I'll
tell you that. Yeah, it's too bad that Bucky Stockwell had to go into hiding. He's he was kind of ahead of the curve on this suspicion of Lutherans, but a certain detective forced Bucky to he silenced Bucky, and so people were not. He could have spread awareness of the Lutheran problem before it got to this point.
Right. It's his fault, really.
I'm reading from our friend Zachary Oren Smith's reporting in Iowa Starting Line. Lutherans decry Reynolds' failure to defend Lutheran services of Iowa. Lutheran leaders are asking Governor Kim Reynolds to stand up for the church and against conspiracy theories. What the fuck? We're asking our governor to stand up for the church.
Too late.
Yeah.
She threw you under the bus.
All this constant government validation of Christianity above all other religions. The Satanists know very well the preferential treatment that Christianity gets in the state of Iowa, and now when push comes to shove, her own denomination gets thrown under the bus because Mike Flynn decided that the Lutheran Church is a money laundering operation. While praising billionaire Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency, which Zach put department in quotes, which I think is a nice touch. It's not a department of anything. It's not an official government office. as well as her own Iowa DOGE. She was asked about Musk's attack on a major provider of charitable services in the state. Oh, okay, he's got the numbers here, so we can actually learn something today. Lutheran Services of Iowa, according to its 2023 impact report, $31.5 million they made 11,000 visits to 711 Iowa families promoting health development and preventing child abuse. They facilitated like 15,000 virtual and in-person therapy sessions. They helped refugee farmers grow 1.2 million pounds of food, and they provided 4,000 community behavioral health sessions for 222 clients. And that's just Lutheran Services of Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they did with all that money. Well, I guess they weren't very specific about the accusation of money laundering here.
No, they weren't.
Where is it going and for what purpose? I mean, look, I'm also suspicious of religious organizations getting a bunch of government money to do stuff, you know? But I didn't expect this to come from a guy like Mike Flynn.
Right.
Iowa's 3 Lutheran bishops, Kevin Jones, Amy Current, and Lorna Hollis, penned a letter asking the governor to tell the true stories of the church's work.
I mean, also it's like, where do they think these people get, where do they think these churches get their money from other than USAID or whatever? Mm-hmm. It's just donations from members. Like, I don't know what kind of illegal, I don't know, whatever. It's insane, obviously, but...
We are right to be grateful and even proud of the work we do together with these agencies here in Iowa and across the country. Please don't let one false and misleading post cast doubt on what you know from personal experience. It always comes down to one post. One post always has the potential to just ruin everything.
Mm-hmm.
Posting is dangerous.
It is dangerous. It's more dangerous than ever.
Mike Flynn is about to dismantle the Lutheran Church from one post. Here's a response. So a lot of Lutheran leaders are like, hey, what the fuck? You should not have given any credence to this bullshit. And Mason Mauro, who is Reynolds' deputy communications director, said this. The Trump administration is doing a top-to-bottom review of where the federal government is sending your tax dollars, and Governor Reynolds supports that. Are they really doing that?
I don't know.
Again, it seems like it's just a gang of teens that get sent into buildings to seize control of all the passwords and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like an audit. It's just like a takeover, a stealing, a looting.
Yeah, smash and grab. Yeah.
Yeah. We've already seen examples of clear abuse and waste.
Where?
Yeah, no details given. Oh, here we go. Governor Reynolds knows Iowa Lutheran Services provides good charitable services for those who need it, and she expects that will be borne out as the review process continues. All right. Too much of a coward to say that to the House Oversight Committee, though. Just has to be a statement later after there's some backlash. Yikes.
Is the Lutheran Church a CIA front? Is this really what we're getting to? Is it part of the deep state?
Are we finally here learning the truth about American churches and the deep depravity that lurks in the shadows?
I mean, I'm not opposed to further investigation, but maybe we shouldn't, just let these teenagers just cut off the spigot,
Right. Yeah.
Well, because there is, the U.S. aid has been implicated in a lot of CIA operations and stuff.
Totally.
So there's people it is it could, there could be some truth, but they're not actually investigating any of that. And
right. That's what's kind of frustrating about this is yes, there is a critique of U.S. foreign policy and these aid organizations, but we said this about something with Emma last week. Not like this.
Right.
Yeah, we use USAID to launder our influence and then sort of shape the future of these developing communities around the world to better serve our national interests, right? Again, it's a thing that benefited them that they are now undermining.
it's whack as hell compared to the Belt and Road Initiative. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
China's
absolutely.
China's doing some cool shit.
Yeah. Well, maybe, long term overall, maybe this is part of the greater good, undermining American influence worldwide. You have to look at the big picture. Yeah. We are shooting ourselves in the foot, which is probably long term good for the rest of the world. It's
probably good for, the average citizen of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not their intention, obviously, but, we can.
Again, they're fucking idiots who don't know what's good for them. So.
Yeah. Man, I forgot. I meant to do this earlier in the episode. This sheriff up in Decorah who said that he will not cooperate with ICE detainer requests. So this, it's been a topic in this local city council race. Our friend Oliver has been a little bit more aggressive about how he wants to defend members of our community from the what he referred to as a terrorist organization, the ICE immigration enforcement. Because what's the kind of stuff they do? They show up, they raid businesses, they want to raid churches and schools and shit, to remove people who they think don't belong here. And there's a fundamental disagreement there. I think people should be allowed to stay wherever they want to be, and ICE is working against that. They want to deport people, separate families. It's bad. It's very bad. And the disagreement among these two city council candidates was, well, if Iowa City proudly defies the federal government, federal immigration enforcement, it puts a target on our back. Ooh.
Spooky.
Yeah. But this sheriff in Decorah was like, fuck that. I'm sticking my neck out. Which is, he's a sheriff. I'm sure he's not the greatest. I'm sure he's done a lot of bad stuff with his authority because that's the job.
Yeah.
But he wrote this post earlier this week. With the recent news, chatter, and happenings surrounding federal agents from three-letter agencies, including ICE, FBI, and others, I have fielded a fair number of concerns about their tactics and questions regarding the level of involvement or role the Winneshiek County Sheriff's Office would play during such a visit or operation. Given what we have seen from these agencies, I share your mistrust and many of your concerns with the legitimacy of how these federal agents conduct business. Whoa, kind of shocking to hear this from a county sheriff. And this is not from, the dangerous blue dot of Iowa City. This is a guy up in northern Iowa where things are not so contentious usually with the state government. And then he writes about how his sole duty is to the Constitution or whatever. And ICE makes unconstitutional requests of local law enforcement, such as non-judicially vetted detainers, which are very different than warrants and are simply an unconstitutional request to arrest or hold someone. Yeah, and he says he won't comply with that because it's not constitutional.
Yeah, maybe this is northern Iowa. Maybe it's Minnesota influence because I saw Keith Ellison is saying the same thing. And I'm sure there's going to be more court battles over that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's detainers are ICE detainers are people who are already in custody, and they're hey, this person might be someone that we need to pick up, and they're telling them to hold inmates longer than they would have otherwise been released unless an ICE detainer. Right. So I wonder if maybe there is part of it sheriffs aren't good guys. I wonder if they're well, we don't really want to hold people because it's in up our resources too.
Yeah. There's that element of it too, where it's the federal government is asking law enforcement agencies with less resources to do their job for them. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's a good case study. It's the first guy to come out and say, yeah, I'm not gonna come or cooperate with ICE at this level. He did say if they get a warrant and stuff, he'll have to do it. But yeah, Kim Reynolds is well, you're not allowed to do that. She released a statement. I direct your attention to Iowa Code Chapter 27A on enforcement of immigration laws. It always comes back to this. So yeah, they have began an investigation. Our good friend Brenna Bird.
Give him the bird. Gotta give him the bird.
Brenna Bird is investigating the sheriff. But yeah, there were no immediate dire consequences for Sheriff Dan Marks. I should have said his name to begin with because his name is Marks, which is funny.
Yeah. And it's spelled the cool way, too. Like,
yeah.
Maybe that's
clearly
part of
a descendant of...
Yeah.
The inventor of communism. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe... And if you think about it, if more communities make statements like this, like, yeah, we're not going to just immediately roll over and do whatever Trump's ICE asks us to do, maybe there's like more of a resistance can be put up to this, rather than just one community. Like if this guy in Winnebago County is willing to do it, there's no reason Johnson County shouldn't do the same. And Polk County, anywhere where there's a single elected Democrat, basically, or like, we got immigrants living in every community in Iowa. We should not be, allowing the federal government to kick them all out.
Yeah. And this, even if it is technically illegal, like, we're not a nation of law and order. Like, that's
clearly that's who
so
believes that anymore.
More obvious than it ever has been. It's not been true for a long time, but if ever. And now it's insane thing to believe.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know how you can watch.
It's just a suggestion. Who's going to enforce it? Like that's like a lot of what these questions come down to is fucking who's going to make me.
Yeah, make me. Fucking make me. Yeah. Well, there was one other thing I wanted to mention, which can be very brief. No criminal charges will be filed in deadly Davenport apartment collapse. So it's been a while since Andrew Wold has been in the news. The Scott County attorney, Kelly Cunningham, just announced that, they will not be bringing any criminal charges against one of the most negligent landlords I've ever known about, Andrew Wold of Davenport.
Yeah, usually negligence doesn't involve like multiple people dying.
Absolutely, yeah. If you need a refresher, a big building in Davenport called the Davenport was owned by this slumlord Andrew Wold, who owned a lot of properties that he was not keeping up with, and he was simply collecting rent from some of the poorest people in the community. That was his role, was to just siphon wealth from poor people and not take care of the buildings he was lodging them in. And the building collapsed and killed a few people. Very bad. Very bad. He failed to... if you think that a landlord has any responsibilities, I think he failed to meet them.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation, they investigated the situation, and the Scott County attorney has said, very simply, this was a horrible tragedy involving the collapse of a structural building that had been built in 1907. So that statement alone is trying to absolve the guy who owned the building of any responsibility because the building was old. Mm-hmm. Well, and he bought it to charge people to live in it.
I see they're also saying like, oh, well, he bought it in 2021. He didn't like really know like it was that bad, even though he absolutely did. And was like, I think he was like civilly required to pay some sort of fine for negligence at one point for the same structural issues and lack of follow through.
A lot of tenants have sued him as individuals as well.
Yeah, and he's trying to sell or transfer all of his assets into like trusts that they can't they can't sue him for. Like
yeah, that's in this article too. This is in the Des Moines Register. Kyle Werner wrote this. No criminal charges will be filed in deadly Davenport apartment collapse. Here, this quote I really wanted to get to, the Scott County attorney. Mr. Wold was very, very proactive, and you can even sense the energy level of him doing anything and everything that he could to try and hire more masons and get them there on the project and making inquiries, honestly, to the point of begging, please give me a call back. I really need some help with this project. I see somebody who is doing everything within his willpower to address this particular issue. So not only is she not filing any criminal charges, she is like making this.
I was just gonna say he's like, I mean,
effusively praising him. It's insane.
Yeah, he was like begging for help to address this problem, but he was doing literally nothing to protect the people who were at risk because of it. Like, if you knew the building was unsafe and imminent danger of collapse, then maybe like get the people out of there. Like,
yeah. There wasn't any communication with the tenants prior to this happening.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to know more, we went into pretty extreme detail on this situation back in 2023. It was episodes 113 and 114 of this podcast. And actually one of those has our friend Oliver on it, so you can get more of his thoughts on housing from before he was running for office. But yeah, just more fishy behavior from people in authority in Scott County. I don't trust this attorney at all.
It's really fucked up. They're not releasing the report either. And I've seen that they're saying because they're like worried. It's like inflaming tensions. It would be inflaming tensions if they were to release it because there's going to be some bad shit in there. That people are going to be, that's like literally why, like they know that like this doesn't look good. It would not look good. Like they knew that there was fucking problems and they didn't address them. Whatever. Apparently there is no like criminally negligent homicide laws in Iowa, so it would be like involuntary manslaughter or something, but like come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, even if you can't build the case on criminal charges, like the fact that they're not releasing the report is like, because all the information that's already out there does not look good for him or for the city inspectors or anything, as we know from episodes 113 and 114. Okay, well, we should wrap this up, and we should talk about this book.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, me and Evan have another podcast to record. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to call us and tell us your thoughts on any of these subjects as our country circles the drain, our number is, I haven't said this in a while, 319-TI-98P. It's 319-849-8733. But if you spell it with the letters that the phone numbers correlate to, you can spell P, and our country is a toilet. So maybe that'll help you remember the phone number. 319-TI-98P. You can also mail us stuff at P.O. Box 5336, Coralville, Iowa 52241. Or you could simply email us, rockhardcaucus@gmail.com. If you'd like to hear Evan and I's very long book review of Perry Johnson's 2 Cents to Save America, I'm holding it up to the camera even though only Evan's going to see this. Check out patreon.com/rockhardcaucus. Just $1 per month, and you have a whole bunch of audio you can listen to. $5 if you want to look at our faces as we talk about the book. And see my cool hat. That'll sell people. You want to see my cool hat? Give us $5. And we're going to close out with some local music, as we always do. If you make music and you live in Iowa, please visit rockhardcock.us and click on Submit Music at the top of the page, and you could be featured at the end of an episode of Rock Hard Caucus. But now, to celebrate the release, finally, the long-awaited release of the Lex Leto and the Christine Burke Ensemble album, and thank you if you came to the release show last night. That was a good time. I'm going to play a little bit of the final track from that album, which is called New Song, on which I play baritone saxophone. You can get the whole thing at lexleto.bandcamp.com.
I just did. I just copped it while you were talking.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Actually, wait, I have to go through to actually buy it. 1 second. All right. I'm buying it. I'm in the process of buying it.
I'll let the people know that you bought it.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll text in the group chat. Hey, Evan bought the album. And if you want me to text the group chat about you, listener, go to lexleto.bandcamp.com and you can get the album too. And then I will text. Oh my God!
I heard that one. That was awesome. Don't cut that.
Well, we'll just end with that awful sound escaping my body. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Good luck, and see you later.